lot of the comments were actually like, fully hate comments, like get a job, you're unemployed, like do something with your life, stuff like that, which I did have a full-time job at that point. But it was a lot of those comments. And I think like after Summer Smash in June was really when it started like really taking off. And, you know, after that I started wearing the bow tie and the suit to the shows. And
what's good, guys? You're watching Visible with Overlooked. Today I am not with an artist. I'm with a streamer, content creator, one of the leading voices in underground rap media. And if you have a phone, access to the internet, chances are you've seen this guy. He's everywhere. I'm with 42, bro.
Hey, good. What's up? What's up?
So, dude, I'm glad that we're finally doing this, sitting down, because, you know, we've seen each other at events. We've talked through DMs, but I don't think we've really talked for like more than 15 minutes. I remember like the first time that I met you in person was actually the Ian listening party. Do you remember that on
Ian
Fairfax?
Listening party. That was almost, that was a year ago maybe, or what?
I want to say it was a year ago.
Yeah.
And then Dave Blunt's pulled up. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I remember like people were coming up to you and they were like trying to take pictures, telling you how much they like fuck with your content. And it's just crazy to see like how far you've grown, really. But it wasn't always like that, right?
Yeah, no, definitely not. Thank you, by the way, I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Take me back to like those first couple of like weeks, months when you were first streaming, first creating like content on Reels, on TikTok, and really just becoming like the face of your brand.
Yeah, so I actually had like, I've had so many different like phases through this whole music scene. I actually started in college with a page called Music for Tonight. And the whole idea behind that was like, I thought I was more tapped in than my friends with music. And so I was like, let me create a page like where I can showcase like new artists or like smaller artists that I'm listening to, because I was like super interested in that stuff. I'd always been, but I wanted a way to like talk about it, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just because I honestly felt like my friends, like they enjoyed talking about music, but like I felt like I enjoyed it a little bit more. So I had the Music for Tonight page, which actually, I know the interview can't see it, but that's the original like logo, M42N.
Yeah, I remember that.
And everyone, like, instead of calling me Music for Tonight, like, call me, like, Music 42 Night or 42 Night, Music 42. And I didn't really get it at first. I'm like, how do you guys not understand it? But then, like, you know, at a certain point, I'm like, okay, I could see how they mix it up. So from there, I was kind of posting, like, small artists every day for free, just for fun. And I was an advertising major in college, but I was really focused on journalism. I was like, what if there's a way I can, like, create like a blog page off this? So I made another blog page, and it eventually was called 42 Daily, because I kind of wanted to just take the 42 part and make that like its own brand in itself. So I was running the blog for a while, and I wasn't really showing my face that much, and I was doing a lot of different content with that. And then I think it was like November. Yeah, it was November of 2023, so a year and a half ago now. I was like, you know what? Let's do some more like face content. Like, let's really put myself out there, because I wanted to, but I was honestly pretty uncomfortable with it. Like, it was just like, you know, knowing your friends are gonna see it or something like that. It was scary. So
this was sophomore year of college?
When I had started originally. Okay. But November 2023 is when I started making like face content, like Reels, TikToks with my face. And that was 1 year after graduating college, because I graduated in 2022. But I started from there, and honestly, like at first, it was like no one really cared, whatever, right? And I think over time, I just like started infusing my personality into it a little bit more. You know, like got kind of excited and stuff like that. And I'm a naturally like pretty energetic person. Like I always feel like I'm talking, like I'm a bit of a yapper. Mm-hmm. And I think it was around like March, maybe. Yeah, March of last year. Because it was like around like 3 to 4 months after I started, where I noticed like more people starting to like gain attraction to it. And a lot of the comments were actually like fully hate comments, like get a job, you're unemployed, like do something with your life, stuff like that, which I did have a full-time job at that point. But it was a lot of those comments. And I
Yeah.
think like after Summer Smash in June was really when it started like really taking off. And, you know, after that I started wearing the bow tie and the suit to the shows. And yeah, from there I just kind of continued progressing, and streaming wasn't really a thing that I was doing until like April of last year, but it was very low key. I didn't really start like pushing my streams out there until I'd say like probably August or September of last year. So it's honestly been like 8 to 10 months since I've really like considered myself like a streamer
Yeah.
as well.
Take me back to your college years. You said you graduated, right?
Yeah.
During your college career, did you know that you wanted to pursue music as an actual career? Or were you
Yeah.
trying to go like graduate 4 years, like kind of go the more traditional route where you get your degree, go corporate?
I was kind of like mixed, honestly, because I was very it was tough. I had like so many different like phases. There was one time I wanted to like a really really long phase. I wanted to be like an A&R,
Yeah, I remember that.
sign artist, stuff like that, and I kind of made my content about that. And then I kind of wanted to manage a little bit too, and then also do marketing because my advertising was my major. Um, and so I had like so many different phases, but I was pretty mixed. Like I wanted to do the content stuff, but I also wanted to do like corporate work because I thought that was, if done right, entertaining and interesting. Of course, there are a lot of corporate jobs out there that suck, honestly.
Did you like the idea of having a stable paycheck?
Yeah, and I still kind of miss it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not regretful of quitting my full time job, but having that 2 weeks paycheck, you know what you're getting paid, is
For
a very
sure.
nice feeling. So it's still like something I regret a little bit, or sorry, not regret. It's something I still think about, but I don't regret it at all. But I was kind of mixed. My parents really thought like corporate was the best, but they were super supportive in terms of like wanting me to do what made me happy. So I think like they were like, hey, you're working a corporate job, you're doing this. If this eventually, gets to a point where you're making more, you should try to go full time with it. They were actually kind of the ones who prompted me to go full time. I probably would have waited a lot longer if they hadn't told me to. So yeah, but college was kind of mixed, I'd say, corporate and content creation, like wanting to do both.
Yeah. Okay, so you said you wanted to be an A&R, right? Like I remember when you were doing the
Yeah.
music for tonight page, we've actually talked about that because there was a point where I wanted to be an A&R. Like I still cover like a lot of small upcoming artists, and I had did like an A&R internship around the same time I started Overlooked, but I love the idea of like creating content with a multitude of artists and
Yeah.
getting to work with all these different artists and not just being like kind of, I guess, stuck with like working with the same, I don't know, 1 to 5 artists, right? For you, what kind of made you not want to be an A&R anymore?
I think it was honestly just like seeing what they do like day to day, because I think like the premises is entertaining and exciting. Like you get to scope out the next artist and bring them to a studio session and then sign them, right, and get all this maybe money or just ability to move up and then work with bigger artists. But when you really like get down to it, I think it's a lot tougher than that. Like there's a lot of like free work you have to put in first. And I think that's what makes the reward so amazing once you do put in that work. But it's a very non-forgiving industry. And I think I also kind of saw what A&Rs were doing, and I was like, you know what? That's not really something I want to do. Like,
Yeah.
I like seeing small artists and I like promoting them if I like their music, but having to, involve yourself in all of the paperwork and contracts and honestly the competition of being an A&R as well, it's extremely tough, and it's not something I was passionate like enough about to find like time to do it. I think it's cool, but maybe I could do it eventually in the future. I just think there's a lot more that comes with it, and I wasn't really prepared. I also do think as well, I kind of like talk about this a lot when I mention A&Rs. It feels like if you're an A&R, you're kind of a little bit in a way, and I feel like A&Rs are gonna get mad at me saying this, but it feels like the truth. A&Rs are kind of like NBA players or like sports players in a way, because they are set up on contracts to the labels and they're moving around constantly. Like it feels like NBA players are getting like traded to different teams. Like these, maybe Columbia A&Rs or Sony A&Rs are like now at APG or Alamo or somewhere else, right? And like they're constantly moving around. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but to the point about stability, that's kind of like what I was always a big fan of. And I noticed like A&Rs really don't have like that crazy of stability. So even if you're higher up, and that kind of scared me off a little bit, I'd say too.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people like the title of being an A&R.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm not gonna lie, I did like think that title sounded cool, and I was like, yeah,
Yes.
like I find artists all the time. Like why wouldn't I do this?
Yeah.
But it is a lot of like administrative work, and it's like you finding artists and signing them is like a small portion of what A&Rs actually do.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, like it's kind of crazy because I see a lot of people out there that say they're A&Rs, and I'll have conversations with my friends about it, and we're like, how many artists did they sign though? Like how, like, and it's not like a diss to anyone who may have not signed an artist yet, but there's a lot of people that kind of put themselves out there as like being an A&R, because I'd say it's actually a pretty prideful title to have. Like if you're a successful A&R, that is amazing stuff, because you were able to, I mean, honestly, potentially transform someone's life, by getting them
100%.
signed, giving them more opportunities. You could also ruin a career too. I mean, I don't want to talk about the negative stuff, but
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of pride in being a successful A&R, so I think it's a very glamorous idea.
For sure. Take me back to this, I don't want to say character, because you say that you are a naturally like entertaining person, you have a lot of energy. Take me back to kind of when you feel like you locked in on like this type of, I guess, animated character, if you will.
I think like what it is it was kind of a lot of smaller things like eventually happening. Like, excuse me. I always had like the energy in my videos. Like that was kind of something that I always had, like the kind of, ability to really like be loud, I guess, for lack of a better word. And so that was kind of the first thing that happened. And then it was kind of, infusing a little bit of skits like into the content as well. Because I'd say like mostly it's just reporting on the news, and I don't want to say like being a journalist, but in a very loose term, being a journalist. And then going to shows with MWell, I kind of realized like, there are ways I can set myself apart from other people that attend shows and cover content at shows. And so I was kind of like playing with the idea of what people call me, which is Unk, since I'm a little bit older to them, 25. And I realized, why not like play into it with like a little suit and tie? Like it's funny. I haven't seen really anyone do it. I think the closest comparison is maybe Nardwuar, but it really isn't a suit and tie, bow tie. So that's what I wanted to go to shows looking like, and that was kind of one thing right there. And then I just kind of continued with the energy in my videos, kind of ramping it up a little bit with like some different themes. Then with streaming as well, wanted to make my setup a little different, so got the cardboard cutouts, the look right here. We got tech, Cardi,
this is
stuff
pretty
like that.
iconic at this point, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this background.
Yeah. And so that was like the whole kind of like putting it all together, I'd say, honestly. But I love it. Like it's so fun for me to do that. I think the only like thing that's not very fun is sometimes like, especially with summer, it gets hot with like the bow tie, the full suit.
Yeah.
But that's not even like, I mean, that's just a complaint about the weather, honestly. Like I love just being able to, be in the bow tie and just say what's up to people, and get loud in the videos too. Like having that energy is just so fun for me. And I honestly, like the best like thing that I can do, and the most happy I get is when I have the ability to break a story. Like that is just the most amazing thing. I can probably say it now because this video won't be out like before the show, but right now like there's potential chance that Travis Scott surprises Playboi Carti at his set, and I can't post about it yet. Travis Scott potentially surprising Playboi Carti tonight and the weekend at their show. Fans are currently speculating this as Celebrity Tracker on Reddit tracked Travis Scott's flight to Chicago. But I can't wait, if it happens, to break the news on something like that. And that's just something I go through every day. So
Would you say that that's like your favorite style of content? Because you do a lot of different styles. Like, not only are you doing the IRL streams now, you're interviewing on stream, you're reacting, commentating, you're reporting on news like super fast. You're like one of the first creators that I see report on shit.
Thank you.
And it's just like there's so much going on, there's so much variety. Like, did you know that you wanted to be this multifaceted creator, or were you kind of like just trying a bunch of different shit and seeing what stuck?
Yeah, I kind of like, and I just, as a person, like doing a lot of different things. Like, I'm a person who needs to stay busy, or I just feel like completely unproductive. And I think that's kind of become an issue because, like, I don't really sleep a lot because I'm just doing so much. But it's because I feel like if I'm not doing anything, I'm being, unproductive. But
Right.
with being multifaceted, I think that's something that kind of just came naturally. Like, as I was realizing, my chat likes one thing in my Twitch streams, and my Instagram community likes one thing, the people on my TikTok like another. So I kind of found that, doing a lot of different things was fun. I do have a preference for making the more journalistic content, like the, breaking news, so-and-so is dropping, or we found out this from an interview, something like that. That's really what I have a deep passion for. But I also do like, the IRL streaming, and the interviews are fun too. I'm still kind of trying to find a way to separate myself from other interviews. With that one, I think that's still a work in progress, but I do like, doing a bunch of different things.
Yeah. No, I mean, it does pay off to be one of the very first creators to report on news.
Yeah,
Like, that's
definitely.
what I think that you do really well. In
you.
terms of like content though, like, do you have like a content schedule where maybe like you pick a day, you're batching content, you're scheduling it out? Do you have people helping you? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I think in terms of content schedule, it's pretty loose because, like, I'm basically going off of like what is happening in the news. Like, I'm kind of following just news stories. So that's like a need to know, like, I'll do something as it happens. And so it's pretty much just like making sure I'm checking my phone and my sources and looking at everything people are sending me.
Yeah.
But with Twitch streams, it's a little different. It's more structured. I'm trying to stream, at a certain time each day for a certain amount of hours and planning what I'm doing there. In terms of like team members, stuff like that, I have a lot of team members, I guess, that you could say to make it easier, because like they're different types of people, but they help me a lot in different ways. Like, I have someone that runs my blog page now, 42 Daily. Shout out Lewis, he's incredible. He honestly he does a better job than I do with it.
Yeah, IG
so
is a whole beast, bro.
it really
It's
is.
a whole beast.
Like, I wasn't bad with the blog stuff. I think I was pretty solid, but my guy Lewis, who runs it for me, like, whew, he is absolutely incredible. Then I have a few people who help with the YouTube stuff, basically taking stream content and making sure that it's on YouTube. And then I have a lot of like clippers and stuff like that too that help with putting my clips out there on different pages on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
And they do an amazing job. And so
Break
they help
down
me a lot.
how you use clipping, because clipping is a huge part of why content goes viral in the first place.
Yeah.
So, without giving us too much of your sauce, how do you like maneuver clipping?
Yeah, so I think for me, the clipping is, it is kind of a beast, honestly, when you get down to stuff. But I think for my own content, when I post my clips, it's only because I think it's a really good clip, and I want to be able to promote that through like the largest platform I have, which is TikTok and Instagram. So when I'm posting clips on my own page, that's because I think those clips will do well, and I think it's really just good content to push out there. Otherwise, all my clippers kind of have creative freedom to post whatever they want. I mean, if there's something they post that someone tells me to take down, or I want taken down, they normally respect me and will take it down. But I kind of like let anyone have creative freedom. There's a lot of different clipping accounts for me, and I appreciate them the most, and I try to push their content by reposting and stuff like that. But what they'll post is just like, funny stuff that happens during the stream, kind of like me doing something that might be funny are perceivably funny to others,
Mm-hmm.
or interview clips as well. So like if I'm interviewing an artist in person or through like Discord, they'll just clip that up and post it. But that's mostly what they do. Honestly, they're just trying to post like funny stuff of me. They'll post like a lot of edits too. I've seen a lot of edits, and I love the edits. Honestly, they're so fun to watch just because like they're just funny. Honestly,
Yeah.
they're a little like corny and cringy, but I like them so.
Honestly, that's engagement right there.
Yeah, and they're funny to me in the community, so I just enjoy it.
Yeah. Do you think that clipping is still kind of this untapped market? Because I would say like streaming and clipping specifically in the music industry is still relatively new. Like it opened up a whole new world for rap. So,
yeah.
I mean, do you think like I'm hearing about like clipping agencies and like
crazy.
websites that clippers can go on and just clip people's content and get paid from it? Like it's just this whole new world.
I think we're kind of getting into like the early majority part of it. Like I feel like it's kind of like getting known by the people, like you were saying, agencies and stuff like that. Like I've been hit up by a few agencies and companies, to kind of like focus on that sort of stuff. And I mean, the thing is for me right now is like I'll take any opportunity with clipping because clipping is kind of like one of those situations where it's like just the more the better. Like so there's really like there's no such thing as too many clips out there of yourself, honestly, unless it's of course like something bad, then I guess that's different. But in a more positive way, I think it's really a situation of like if someone's hitting me up like to do whatever with clipping, I'm interested because I want more clips out there of me because I think that's really what grows brand awareness, of course, but then also drives viewers to the stream. So I think right now it's definitely at like I'd say it's a little early, like kind of early majority range. I'm always curious about like when it gets to a point where it's like oversaturated and overdone. I think streaming might be getting there a little bit.
Really?
But with the IRL stuff, rap
Okay.
I think is still very untapped and very, very new. But I do think as like a whole IRLing and stuff like that, it's like everyone's trying to do it right now. But fortunately for the music industry, I think it's a little bit early still. And what I like to see is artists doing streams now. Like their own
like
stuff.
their own streams?
Yeah, like
Okay.
Nino Paid, for instance, genius. I don't know if it was him or his team, but he's doing his own streams now, not like guest stuff like that. Like it's his own stream, and he's cooking up, but he's also like sharing motivation. I think he's playing some video games too. I'm not too sure about that, but like he's already having clips posted of him, and he's already going up. But like that streaming stuff is just gonna build.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
So I mean, rappers I think need to start doing that stuff. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say there is like this streamer to rapper pipeline right now that we're seeing. It's still relatively new. DDG, Blackboy Max, the first two to put out albums, right?
Yeah.
For artists, do you think that we are gonna see it normalized in a way where it's not like surprising that an artist would also be a streamer? Like Nino Paid is a good example.
Yeah.
Jace is also a good example.
Jace, yeah.
But it's like it's I feel like it's pressure too, like for an artist to tell them they have to also be a streamer on top of making great music.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's a really good point. I mean, I think the thing is like it's gonna be tough because you're right. Like there are a lot of artists out there that like I mean no hate against them, but they would be horrible streamers because they wouldn't talk long enough, or they wouldn't be able to hold a conversation that I think would be engaging for a chat. Fortunately, I think if you're at a certain level with clout, you can kind of do whatever on stream and like people will still watch you. Like for instance, and this would never happen, but as an example, Playboy Carti could hop on stream, have hundreds of thousands or at least 100,000 people watching him, literally just smoke a joint, not doing anything. So with clout comes a little bit of room to not do much. But in terms of like growing artists and growing streamers to get like together at the same time, it will be pretty difficult, I believe. But I do think it's important, and I do think, to your earlier point, it won't be a surprise. Like I do think we will see that a lot more. I think Max and DDG did an amazing, like literally perfect example of what you should do. And there are other artists I think that will try to do that. And it might not be as good, but it'll still, I think, work out for them. I still think it'll be a good opportunity for them. At least, like, in my mind, just showing a little bit of, like, how, you're making an album or the creative process through stream. At least a little bit of that, and people are going to love it, honestly. Maybe not the full album, but a single, few singles, I think it's important. So
Yeah. No, I definitely think that artists need to focus more on content.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many artists now, so much music, and it's like we need something that interests us, like something that engages us. Like I feel like the era that we're in right now with music is like you just can't make good music and have that be enough, or you can, but you have to be okay with it taking much longer for you to like actually reach the top.
Yeah, that's the thing is like sorry, excuse me. The thing is like there are just so many like artists that don't want to do that though. But I do agree like for fans, because I mean at the end of the day like I'm a fan like just like everyone else. I just want to see the artists that I like do more stuff like that maybe. I mean it gets tough too though, because like there's this whole mysterious, you know, aura persona that they have to have. So they might not necessarily want to do that, but I think it's important to show your personality a lot, honestly.
No, I think that mysterious persona too. I mean, this is like a big debate that we always have within like underground rap, right?
Yeah.
The mysteriousness maybe worked for a little bit, but like just this past year alone, it is such a tired strategy. Even if I don't even know if it was a strategy, but like a lot of artists were just being mysterious.
Yeah.
And sometimes it worked, but now it does not work at all. It actually hurts you. Like I know some talented artists that are just so mysterious, and I know nothing about them. The music is fire, but I know nothing about them. And if there's an artist who is kind of okay at music, but they're giving me so much, I'm probably going to tune into them because I'm more interested.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way, honestly. I think the thing is like there's just so many artists out there that like are influenced by Cardi sound wise, but I also think they were influenced as well through like the persona and the personality. So it's like so much rubbed off on them. And so it's tough because like they're trying to like be influenced by the sound and stuff as well, but like everything's rubbing off on them. So they're trying to be mysterious and they're trying to like, you know, not show themselves on, you know, their Instagram stories or whatever. But I'm the same way. Like I would much rather follow an artist that like actually does a lot of stuff that isn't like as good, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So. I mean, it's not even saying that you have to be a streamer per se or like do the content that everybody else is doing. Like you can do content in your own way. Like I feel like artists don't get that part. Like with content, you can do whatever you want. Like it doesn't have to be so cookie cutter, do what a mainstream artist is doing.
Yeah.
Like you could do it in your own way.
And you know, one of the artists that I like a lot, like to use that example from, is Dave Blunts. And I know like he's very controversial and like there's a lot of people that hate him, a lot of people that love him, but he kind of always manages to have the attention around him because he does so much. Like he's always talking, he's always saying something. There's always like a random story from him. You're just like, what? Like recently I had him on stream and he was talking about how Netspend pressed him and he had it in his song. It's like what? But it's like he's talking about it, he's giving us the answer, he's not being all mysterious about it.
Yeah.
And so like something like that is just so beneficial because it keeps our attention on it. And hey, maybe the music isn't as good, maybe it is as good, but if you think it isn't, you're still more likely to watch him because he's talking rather than someone who's just not saying anything.
Exactly. Exactly. No, I feel the same way too. But going back to like Instagram, right? You started creating content on your own page, right? So you started like personal branding yourself, right? At the same time that you were kind of building the blog, right? Do you think that that was the thing that kind of made you grow faster? Because right now, like we are seeing personal branding be pushed onto like brands as like a method, right?
Yeah.
There's this whole talk about like founders, business owners, whatever, creators, they need to be personal branding at the same time of building their regular brand, right?
Yeah.
Or for instance, like a blog, right? We have a lot of like faceless blogs right now, but it's moving towards the owner, the creator being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that was like extremely beneficial for you in terms of growth?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think the thing is like there are a lot of different people now that are like kind of tapping into that method that you talked about, and I think it's really important. I do think that was kind of like one of the catalysts to kind of push myself a little bit more into the eyes of a lot of different people. Actually, we were just talking about this with a friend, and he had kind of mentioned that exact same thing. Like Instagram was kind of the boost a little bit, because the TikTok does well, and it was doing really well. But the Instagram like adds another step, I think, because a lot of people who are creators are mostly just on TikTok, and I was pushing the exact same content onto Instagram. And so I have people watching from TikTok, people watching from Instagram, and now actually kind of a new, I don't know how new, but somewhat new method for me is really pushing the Twitter content as well. I had a 42 Daily blog page, Twitter, that is not being run by me, but being run by two awesome dudes, shout out Dell and Christian. And they do like normal blog content. But I created my own like 42 CEO Twitter in September of last year. So like, it's like 6 months from now, from today. And I'm doing like my own personal content on there, and it's been amazing to see the engagement and the growth. And yeah, it's just been really fun to have that content. So I think Twitter's kind of the new extra step that I'm pushing myself on. And then of course with Twitch too, that's also important. So
yeah, I think Twitter is really helping underground artists grow right now. I'm seeing a lot of underground artists grow fast on that platform, and there's a lot more blogs. I'm on Twitter now. I'm a lot more active, and I'm seeing like the benefits of it for sure.
I literally like one of my favorite artists, 1300 Saint. I found him off Twitter.
Really?
So yeah, Twitter is like where you're kind of getting tapped in with these artists now, I feel like, or at least that's kind of like for me.
I think Twitter is like the easiest platform, like social media platform for artists to be on.
Twitter's amazing.
I actually did 1300 Saints interview. He was one of my first interviews.
That was a great one. The clips were really solid on that.
Thank you.
He's such a good dude.
He is. But he was saying that he doesn't really like posting on the internet, which, you know, I understand. But he was saying like Twitter is where it's at, and he's not the first artist that I've talked to where they're like, dude, we're on Twitter now. Like Twitter is where it's at. So I feel like we're gonna start to see like this trend with everybody just going to Twitter. Blogs too.
I think it's important. I actually remember, not to spill too much, but there was a conversation in the group chat. Like there's an underground group chat that we were talking about that a little bit. And I agree with you too. Like it's kind of at an early point, but it's getting, and it's going to get to the point where everyone starts going on there. So I'm right now trying to be as active as possible on Twitter, because my personal brand has really solid engagement, I'd say, for like how new my account is. And so I'm just really trying to push that, because there's a lot of opportunity out there. And I've noticed even with the streamers as well, it goes hand in hand, because a lot of the big streamers have massive Twitter communities. Twitter communities is what it's about, because if they're not in the chat, they're in the community talking amongst each other about whatever. And that's how they're pushing each other too, because what is so nice about Twitter is just because you're talking in the community doesn't mean it stays there. It pushes itself to the algorithm as well. So you could have a viral tweet within that community, and that just is pushing your content even more. And even having that community makes your community more like closer together. And so Twitter is really this untapped, well, I'd say in the rap scene, it's very untapped. Maybe not with regular streamers like IRL people, stuff like that, but with rap, it's super untapped. So I'm hoping in the next few months we kind of see a huge increase of usage from the blog pages, the artists, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I think everybody's going to be on Twitter within the next couple months.
Yeah,
for sure. But going back to like streamers, right? Do you think that it is a super saturated place? Like, do you think it's harder? It's easier than ever to, I think, grow your own brand, right? But it's also harder at the same time because there's so many people trying to do it.
Yeah, I'd say like it's getting to a point where it's pretty oversaturated. I think it's back on my earlier point. Not super. It's not as oversaturated with rap content specifically. Like we have the big mainstream guys, but like at a smaller level with underground, it's not really as tapped into. Overall, though, streaming wise, I believe it's pretty oversaturated. So it is hard to stand out. I think the thing with streaming is like it's very easy to begin, very easy to set up and start, and maybe find a little bit of boost in growth, but it's hard to kind of get yourself at like whatever next level you're trying to achieve. Like if it's going from affiliate to partner, or like partner to like averaging 500 viewers or 1,000 viewers, whatever it may be. I mean, I'm still a very small streamer, I'd say. That's one of the biggest room or like areas I want to focus on for the rest of the year. But I would say I'm still like really new to the streaming stuff, and I've seen like it be a challenge to kind of move myself in a new level. And I think with streaming as well, you have to be prepared to be stagnant in certain times. Like there's times where your viewers are going to be high, there's times where it's going to be low, and there's like weeks, even maybe months, where it's going to stay the exact same. So that's the hardest thing, and I think that's going to take a lot of people and make them not want to do it anymore. But it's
a grind.
Yeah.
What do you think would get you to like the next level? Just maybe not just you, but like in general. Like what do you think gets streamers over that hump?
I think honestly, the two main things, and these are things I want to work on for myself, because I think I'm at that point now where I'm like, I'm steady with what I'm at, but I want to build and grow. I think the two things are, I guess it's kind of like hand in hand, but the first is IRL. So going out and doing things in public, interacting with different people, whether it be celebrities or just people on the streets, whomever, friends, anything. That, and then also too, I think it's important to, I guess this is more directly related to our space, doing IRL content with artists and celebrities and people that we listen to. Like I'm trying to plan a few IRLs with some artists that would get solid viewers if I was just doing desktop, but I think it would be so much more beneficial and so much more entertaining if it was in person and we were doing something together. So that's really what it's about, IRL, and then IRLing with the right sort of people.
Right.
As well.
Yeah. Would you say like throughout all of this content, because you're doing so much, are you just genuinely like, dude, this is too much? Like I'm way overexhausting myself.
There was definitely times where I felt like that, and there are still days I feel like that, but I think the issue with myself is I really push myself very hard to post, because like right now breakdown for posts is I average like 16 posts per day, but I try to post at least 15. Like if I do over 15
on TikTok or
across, so it'd be TikTok and Instagram, so 30 in total. But it's very easy to just post on TikTok and Instagram. So 15 on TikTok, 15 on Instagram, same post, so like it's 30 in total. I have a SoundMap account in which I have a brand partnership with them, where I post twice a day from there.
What is SoundMap for people who don't know? Yeah,
SoundMap, best way to describe it, amazing app, by the way. I'm so glad I was able to tap in with them. Like before they tapped in with me, I was a fan of it and actually had the app, but it's basically I'd say Pokemon Go, but with music. Like you have a map, you're going around searching for songs, and you can pick up different songs and add your collection, and then there's a trading mechanism that works. And it has its own like coins and in-game currency, and there's different mini games involved with it as well. That's very entertaining. So SoundMap, I post twice a day on there. I have a dance account as well. It's just like fun stuff. I post like maybe 4 or 5 times a week on that, but I just try to do some fun shit. And then I'm active with the Twitter. I also try to be on Twitch 4 hours a day. And also too, I have a sports account, because that's just a passion of mine. I love sports, and I'm like, why can't I do this with sports?
The 42 Sports, right?
Yeah, 42 Sports. So I started that in March, and it's already grown like 5,000 followers on TikTok. And then I had it as a blog page before on Instagram, but it's grown a little bit since then. It's like at 6,000, 7,000, something like that. So I try to do like maybe 2 sports posts a day, but that's not really like a main priority. So, if anything comes up, it's always music first. But yeah, I'm posting a lot, and so I do feel burnt out some days, but I think it's just about trying to balance it a little bit with just hanging out with friends or just chilling with friends on Discord, stuff like that. But the thing is too, is like I'm so passionate about it that it's hard to like be burned out. Like I definitely do get burned out, but like I just love like talking about it. So it's so easy for me to do that, honestly. Like it's not like I feel like sometimes I maybe do feel like I have to make a video, but for the most part, it's just because I want to make the videos. You know what I mean? Like I woke up this morning, saw Cardi was surprising Filthy at like the after party for Chicago Night 1. And I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. This is so cool. So I wanted to make a video on it. And it wasn't really like I have to.
Yeah. So it's never felt like a job at any point.
There are definitely times where it does, I'd say. I think there are definitely times where it feels like a job. But I'd say for the most part, the organic content doesn't feel like that. Because the thing with like growing in this music industry is there are a lot of people that want to pay you to promote their artists. There's a lot of stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. And I'd say definitely take your bag, but don't, not ruin the reputation you have, but don't let that get too involved with what you're doing organically, right? Like if it makes sense, perfect, it makes sense. But if it doesn't, I wouldn't do that unless you're at a certain level. But even then, it still kind of hurts.
With smaller artists, upcoming artists, who are you really messing with right now? Like give me like your top 3 for upcoming. Not like established, so it can't be like Can or Lone, but like upcoming.
Oh, that's tough. There's so many. Oh my gosh.
There's a lot.
Okay. I guess, I don't know. I'm going to say more than just 3 because I want to say this one. I don't know if he's necessarily established. He might be, but Pretty Fun. I love Pretty Fun. So Pretty Fun up there. But I think he might be a little.
He's a little established
so
right now.
I'm not going to go with that. I think Apollo Red is really up there. Like for me, I mean, of course, I'm biased because he included me on.
Yeah, the intro, right?
Yeah, I was like in the beat switch part, but yeah, I was on his first album. But I love his music genuinely. I really enjoy it. So Apollo Red, I love 1300 Saint. Shogun off his last project.
Shogun's fire. Yes. Video's great too.
The video's so clean. That's been on repeat. And I love what he does with Apollo Red too. Like they had the song with Tana, 2 songs with Tana for Platform Max and stuff, and that was really both amazing. And then honestly, third, I'm a really big fan of Rex V2.
He's a really fire prod, but he's also he's a good artist. I think he's still coming up, but like
developing.
He has the chance to be like a great producer and artist.
Yeah, Controlla is a song off of his that I love. That
is that from the new EP? I haven't listened yet.
Yeah, it's from the new one. I literally told him, I was like, dude, like this shit is on repeat, like in the car, like it's just so fun to listen to.
Yeah. We are also noticing like this trend of, I don't want to say trend, but like more producers are also becoming the artists. They're doing both.
I love that too.
Me
That's
too.
So entertaining for me. Like even like Two Hollis, pretty fun. Like the Two Hollis, the Cardi song, the snippet is What's My Motherfucking Name. That was previewed at Complex Con, and I didn't know that was Two Hollis prod until his team like called me and was like, yo, do you have a clip of that? Because that Two Hollis produced that. And I was like, what? I knew Two Hollis was a producer, but like for Cardi, I mean, that's like at the top of the top right there. So it's just really cool to see the opportunities it can bring them. Not because I mean, like being an artist is amazing. You could do your own stuff with that, but being a producer, I mean, you could have so many placements. And we saw that with Pretty Fun. So I definitely love that. And I think it kind of adds to the creativity of the artist. I think it just gives them a lot of, what's the word? Like added reputation. And
just
more,
like a full, like well-rounded artist.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I like that a lot, honestly. Seeing that is really fun.
Yeah. I heard that Filthy and Homixide Bino weren't really messing with you at one point, right? It seems like they spin the block a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. Bino for sure. Homixide Gang and I are definitely cool. I love them. Filthy, that I really don't even know with the Filthy. He liked, actually it's funny, last week I produced a song with my good friend Noah. He is an amazing producer. He's produced for like Don Toliver, Ken, a bunch of different artists like Sofago, Sama-san. And he helped me produce my first song. I just kind of did the melodies, honestly, and he really flipped it and made it a well-rounded beat. But my prod tag on that was Filthy, saying, who the hell or whatever, who is 42, ban him for life. And Filthy saw that, and he liked it. He thought it was funny. So it's like, Filthy and I kind of have this like thing where it's like, I don't know if he really fully likes me, but our relationship's kind of mending slightly. He was in my Twitch chat a few weeks ago saying to get like a cardboard cutout of him. So like he does some funny stuff like that. But yeah, there's times a lot in this industry where I have like relationships at first that might not be so like great.
Yeah.
But I think it's just because like the character, like the energy I give off, like what I do. And I'm never gonna stop what I do. Like I don't really care that they don't like me because I enjoy doing it. It's what I like to do. But I think there's just some times where they don't really get it at first, and it takes some time for them to get it. And then they're like, okay, like, that's cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you noticed like artists and producers who weren't messing with you in the beginning now are coming back around and like really embracing you?
I'll say, or I won't say names, but there are people that are definitely like, at first, I could kind of tell like they're like, what? Like, what is this? This is weird, corny, whatever. But through time, I think they realized like, hey, I mean, he's just promoting our music at the end of the day. Like, it's not like he's saying like crazy false information about us. He's just talking about us like in a certain way. And so I think they kind of realized that and they're like, okay, like he's pretty cool. And I mean, they can still think I'm cringy, whatever. But there are definitely some artists that don't understand that. And some artists that have really pushed heavy that really don't get that. And it's kind of frustrating. But at the same time, also understanding these artists are younger a lot of the times. And with a lot of clout and fame, it can easily get to your head. And I don't blame them for that, especially at such a young age. So I'm pretty understanding that like sometimes relationship might not be close and that's okay. I have my community, and at the end of the day, it's always going to be my community over any other artist. So like that's okay with me, honestly.
Yeah. No, I feel that. There are a lot of artists right now that are extremely young, and it's funny when we see artists like build and then they start blowing up, they just like completely go ghost, and like they do go the mysterious route, and then they don't reply to your TMs, and they're just like the energy is off.
Yeah.
We noticed that because we're the ones posting them, like we're talking about them.
Yeah, there's literally like a meme I've seen of like as soon as your first song blows up, like going through like the list of who you're unfollowing, stuff like
the
that.
ratio.
Like, yeah, gotta keep it down like under 10 or whatever. Which like, I mean, I would say I get it for the aesthetic purpose, but I kind of don't.
I get it, but I don't. Like, what is the purpose of that? What is it really? Is it really just the look? Like, I don't get it.
It must be something. I have like a joke that like I'm like, oh, it's someone at the label telling them they have to do it. But
honestly,
it's a deliverable.
it might be because it happens so often.
Yeah,
it happens so often.
It happens, I would say, like almost with everyone. But like that's the thing is like, it happens so much that I'm just like, it is what it is. It's one of those things.
True. In terms of expansion, right? Where do you kind of see your brand going for the rest of the year and even like the years after that? Like, do you see yourself kind of getting more into the sports stuff, balancing the music and sports?
Yeah, I think really what it is I think the content that I do on TikTok, Instagram, that can maintain as is because that's what I enjoy doing. People always...
Especially if it's working too.
Yeah, and if... my belief that is everyone is always interested in news. There's always news going around. Like there may be some dry days or hours, but for the most part, in a thriving economy of information and music being spread around, entertainment, all that, there's always news about something. So news will always be here. And that's something I'm always willing to talk about. So in terms of that sort of stuff, Instagram, TikTok, even Twitter, that's kind of, keeping as is because that's what I love doing. It's news. It'll always be up. There will always be news. In terms of longer form content, Twitch, that's what I'm kind of working on leveling up with like the IRLs, getting more people on stream, definitely collaborating. Collaborating is kind of the one thing.
Collaborating with other streamers or?
Streamers and artists, I'd say. Just kind of people that I think my community would find interesting. Mm-hmm. Anyone, honestly. So Twitch is kind of the focus is leveling up the type of content I'm doing. Then I'd say with the sports stuff as well, I believe there's a huge path of opportunity there. And sports has always been, honestly, I'd say my first passion. Like, people hate to hear me say this, and maybe it's changed a little bit, but I low-key, where I went to school is University of Oregon. I think I would low-key rather have University of Oregon win a national title then Playboi Carti drop an album. It's like that close to me. Like that's how deep. Like I cry if Oregon loses. Like I take it personal. So sports is a huge passion. I think it's a huge opportunity. So I definitely want to continue. The only issue with that sort of stuff is like I'm doing so much as it is like there's just really no hours in the day to be able to post all that. But I want to level up the sports stuff for sure. And then I really want to do some more longer form content that maybe focuses around YouTube, some podcast stuff like that. Like I've spoken about with Well, but yeah, he's the only person I want to do something with. Like I'd maybe do something on my own too, but it's really just with Well. Like that's because we just are such good friends, and like we could do so many things because he's also interested in sports too. So it's so many opportunities.
Yeah,
there.
it just makes sense. With any one of your content, like what do you want people to really know you for? Like I go to 42 for this.
Honestly, I don't know if this is like people might not perceive this as the right answer, but it's really just what I want to be known for, and that's to be the source. Like I love it. My favorite thing in the world is when someone comes up to me and says, "You're who I get my news from." Like I found out this and this and this because of you. You're the reason why I know that information. Because then in my mind, that just makes me so happy because I mean the whole point of this is being a news reporter, being the one to break the story. Of course I want to be entertaining. Of course I want to be known to people as like someone who's entertaining with rappers and streamers and all that stuff. But being the source is the one thing I'm looking to always achieve. And so that's like, that's like the most like heartwarming thing to me. If someone comes up to me and says like I'm their source of news for rap or for music, that's just the best thing ever, honestly. So
yeah, no, I mean you're definitely on the right path to doing that. Like I said, you are one of the fastest creators that I see report on news.
Thank you.
Extremely fast. But
yeah, that's what I'm trying to be. I'm low-key not the fastest with well, okay, I'm like the fastest, but like
you're one of the fastest.
Yeah, Twitter's just so much faster, I'm not gonna lie, but I try to be as fast,
Well, it is easier because you're just you don't
no,
have
I
to
don't
record
have to
yourself.
re-record all that.
Yeah, not for sure, but hey man, I appreciate you. Can't wait to see what you do this year, man.
Overlooked, it's
Something
lit.
crazy.
Hey.
Oh yeah.